Hello, welcome back to Up the Villa. Welcome to Transfer Hub, your home of Aston Villa's transfer news, links, rumours, noise, murmurings, incomings, outgoings, discussions. On today's episode, we're going to have a good discussion about all of the latest transfer news this morning. What's breaking? Where do we stand? What are the options? What are the permutations? And I really want to get your thoughts and your insights onto everything that I discuss on this episode. If you are enjoying the content, make sure you are subscribing. Let's have a like target of 800 and just comment your thoughts on everything that I discuss in this episode. We've mentioned that we're going to be in for a busy week. We are in for a very busy week, and the rumours are now starting to fly around over Jhon Duran, João Felix, Diassy, Villa defenders, but those three in particular are the ones that are doing the rounds this morning. So we're going to take a look at what the journos have been saying this morning, and then we're going to try and paint a bit of a picture of where we are. And I think I've got 4 different permutations that could possibly happen regarding Villa and Chelsea. So we'll get your thoughts on that then. Right. So first of all, Fabrizio Romano has said that Aston Villa, one of the 4 clubs reaching out to João Felix agent Jorge Mendes to discuss potential last-minute deal. It all depends on Chelsea, as the formula of the deal is not easy to set for the final days. Unai Emery remains clear. If there's a chance, he wants João. So it really does look like Unai Emery absolutely loves João Felix. That is clear. It feels like this is the dream transfer for Unai Emery. It feels like he's the player that he's wanted to get his hands on for a significant period of time. And it feels like he absolutely loves him. So that is what I feel like with that area as well. So the next one we have got, another little update on Diassy, is that despite reports on Wolves and more clubs keen, Axel Diassy insists on joining Aston Villa. He's agreed personal terms. He spoke with Unai and wants the move, as exclusively revealed on Monday. Deal up to Chelsea and Villa now. So that one looks pretty good. Looks like we can get that one over the line. So he would be a good acquisition for Aston Villa on loan. Now, David Ornstein has now spoke this morning, and he has said many clubs want one elite number 9. Aston Villa have 2, but with both Watkins and Duran expect to start, and Emery favours a lone striker. Growing sense, something might have to give. If Villa receive offers for Duran, 80 million before deadline, 21-year-old may yet go. So the reported 100 million is in euros. I imagine that's now being turned into pounds, which is 80 million. I've spoke a lot about Duran, and we've spoke a lot about whether he would stay or whether he would go. From what we're reading between the lines, and I think we can all read between the lines pretty well, is that if a bid comes in for Jhon Duran of 80 million, Aston Villa will probably sell. That is how I see it, to be honest. I don't really see any other way. Now, the options that we've got are the first option. So option number 1, Duran stays, and he stays till the end of the season, but Duran goes in the summer. So that is how I see it. If he doesn't go now, I feel like he will go in the summer. So there's the first option. Now the second option is that he goes for the 80 million. So he can either stay now, but I think he probably will go in the summer. He can go now for 80 million, and Villa would get 80 million, and we'd be able to spend it where we want to spend it, etc. We can bring in another attacker. We could use some of the money to buy a defender, or we could keep some of the money and we could spend it in the summer. But that amount of money coming into Villa would be massive for PSR reasons that would enable us to sort of like future-proof our spending for a season or two, and we'd be quite comfortable. I imagine there will be some more outgoings that happen in the summer as well. Now, here's the interesting part, and we're starting to get a couple of little rumours along the lines of this. So this is coming from Felix Johnston. So he's a Chelsea scouting and football, Chelsea, Cobham. That's what he does. I don't know who he is. Right. He said he's got a massive following. He's got 198,000 followers. So he's put, I'm told that Chelsea have bought up Jhon Duran during talks with Aston Villa over João Felix. A swap deal of sorts could be on the cards. Villa inquired about Felix, as reported by others. Emery is a huge fan. Now, this, to me, could be a legitimate possibility because both clubs have been involved in deals with players that go in the opposite direction. Maatsen, Kellyman, PSR. They also did the deal to get João Felix from Atletico Madrid to Chelsea, with Conor Gallagher going the opposite way. If they didn't buy Felix, then he wouldn't have gone to Chelsea. So, and Gallagher wouldn't have gone the other way. So, when I'm looking at this one, I'd love to know how you guys feel about it as well, because what it would basically mean, Duran goes to Chelsea, Felix comes to Villa, Diassy comes on loan, maybe some cash involved to merge the two together. I imagine that they would value João Felix at around 55, 60 million. We value Duran at 80. So there's a bit of a gap there, isn't there? But what that would mean for PSR is, even though it's technically kind of a swap deal, the whole fee of the transfer, so if Felix, the cash, acquainted to 80 million, the 80 million goes down on the books, so it looks like an 80 million. So whether it's you get an 80 million if you don't have João Felix, or you get an 80 million if you do, you're still getting that 80 that looks on that piece of paper. And the reason why I personally think this could possibly happen is because Unai Emery absolutely loves João Felix. He wants him. He's wanted him in all of the last windows. So, for example, if we sold Duran to Chelsea and João Felix wasn't involved in the deal, would Unai Emery want to spend money on João Felix? I think he would. I think he would want to go and sign him. So, I really do think that there is a possibility that something like this could happen. So, I think it's really interesting, and I think it's one that we're going to have to watch and see how this one pans out. The other option is that we try and sign João Felix, but if we did, someone would have to leave Aston Villa, which then someone's got to leave. So I think those are like the options of what I think is going to happen. There's quite a few. He either stays or he goes. We either sell him and we don't bring João Felix, we don't do any sort of swap deal, or we do some sort of deal where we can merge the transfers together, and does everybody then sort of gets what they want? Emery gets his man, Duran goes and plays at Chelsea as the number 9. And I think we are in that position where, and it is true, like what Ornstein says, that there is truth in it, that you can only have one number 9. You know, you look at Kane at Spurs, whenever they used to bring in strikers like Soldado, you know, was it Pavlyuchenko that they brought in? You know, that they're always not as good as what the main striker is. And we know that we've got versatile players that can play across the front line anyway. So I just don't see the future of Villa with Watkins and Duran. I just don't. And, you know, I think the other option is that you've got fans that will say that they would rather Watkins be the one that gets sold, but I just don't think that scenario is on the cards like whatsoever. I don't think that scenario is there. I think and you've got to look at how Emery probably feels about Ollie Watkins, his relationship with Watkins, how probably tight knit and how strong that is. And I think you could say Watkins' age, but Watkins doesn't look like he's slowing down. His speed's still there. So Watkins, whether he's 30, he's still got 5-6 years left in him. And I think one big factor that Watkins needs in this whole conversation is a bit of respect on his name, I think, because we look at this that he did at the weekend. Ollie Watkins, 100 goal contributions in the Premier League. That is absolutely huge. You know, he's an absolute massive player for Aston Villa. And I think, to be fair, this is all about opinions, guys. This is all about opinions. This is my opinion. If you don't agree with my opinion, that's fine. But we're all entitled to our opinion. So I think it's fair that we respect everybody's opinion. If you would rather Watkins go and Duran stays, that's fair enough. That's your opinion. But I don't think your opinion can be wrong, because I find, and I'll be honest, when I mention Duran, I feel like the comments come at me a little bit. Like they're a little bit like, you're right, how can you think this? How you should be Watkins that you want to go. Well, that's my opinion. So if yours is different, that's fine. But let's all be amicable and nice to each other. It's not about point scoring. And I personally feel like Watkins needs respect in this situation. 100 goal contributions. So he's a model pro. He loves the Villa. He works hard every time he comes on that football pitch. There's never any outside noise. His attitude is spot on. And for me, Ollie Watkins has far more respect from me than what Jhon Duran does. And that's me being brutally honest. So Watkins leads the line, completely different. We saw it when Watkins went off against West Ham compared to when Jhon Duran was leading the line. I felt like we were far worse when Watkins went off and Rodgers went off and Ramsey went off. So I think this is where I'm at. And it's coming to the point now where Jhon Duran, in my opinion, will not be an Aston Villa player at the start of next season. It's not happening. There's just too much noise. He doesn't want to. I don't feel like he fully wants to be here. I think if somebody bid the money, he would jump at the chance to take it and leave. So for me, these are the situations, and this is where I'm at. Basically, it's my honest opinion on the whole situation. So let's see what you guys have got to say. What are your thoughts on it? I imagine this whole transfer saga is going to unravel during the day, during the next couple of days. So we'll probably be back talking about various different elements within the whole transfer, on what's happening and who's going, etc. So Villa fans, let me know your thoughts. Up the Villa.